So I almost died in court today. Not metaphorically, not like, oh, my case died or whatever. I mean, my physical body almost stopped working because of how stupid everyone in that room was, and my brain was literally fighting for survival against the radiation of their collective IQ. I was there because apparently you can't sell homemade energy drinks at a middle school anymore, which is funny because I never said they were for the kids. I said they were near the kids. There's a difference. Geography matters. But try explaining longitude and latitude to a public defender who thinks the earth is flat because he saw a TikTok about it. The courtroom smelled like wet carpet and broken dreams. Like someone shampooed the floor with depression and I'm sitting there in my one good shirt, which is actually just a shirt that hasn't been sued yet. The judge walks in and this man looks like if a potato had a bankruptcy, just this lumpen mass of robes and disappointment staring at me like I killed his dog, when really I just gave children access to 400 milligrams of caffeine and whatever I found in my garage that said warning. So the prosecutor stands up. She's wearing shoes that click. You know the type, click, click, click. Like she's trying to Morse code her way out of her own life choices. And she starts reading charges and her voice does this thing where it goes up at the end of every sentence like she's asking a question, but she's not. She's just stating facts about my life that I already know. Yes, I sold the drinks. Yes, they were green. Yes, one kid saw through time for 17 minutes. That's not my fault. That's physics. And here's where I almost died. First death was when she said the defendant shows no remorse, and I said correct, because she was right and I didn't want to be a liar under oath. Apparently, you're supposed to pretend to feel things you don't feel. That's called perjury when I do it, but acting when Tom Hanks does it. Double standard. So I clarified that I do feel things, just not about this. I feel lots of things. I feel hungry. I feel like the lighting in here is giving me a headache. I feel like that bailiff has been staring at me for 20 minutes, and we should address that energy. The judge tells me to stop talking, which is funny because he asked me a question, you can't ask me a question, and then punish me for answering it. That's entrapment. I saw that on a show, probably Law & Order, or maybe it was a commercial for Law & Order themed slot machines. Either way, I'm an expert now. Second near-death experience was the ventilation system. They had the air conditioning set to meat locker, and I was wearing shorts because I didn't know courts had dress codes. Nobody told me I couldn't wear cargo shorts. They have so many pockets, you need pockets in court for evidence or snacks. I had beef jerky in my left thigh pocket, and the cold air was making it hard. Not the jerky. The jerky was fine. The jerky was thriving. I was hard. Not like that. Temperature hard. My blood was becoming slushy. So I'm shivering, and the judge thinks I'm nervous. He says, you don't need to be nervous. And I say, I'm not, I'm hypothermic, and he laughs like I'm joking. But I'm not joking. My body is literally trying to hibernate to save energy because it thinks I'm dying in the Arctic. And honestly, that's not far off because this room is hostile to human life. Then we get to the witnesses. They bring in this kid, little guy, probably 11, wearing a Minecraft shirt, which means he has opinions about blocks, and the prosecutor asks him, did you drink the green liquid? And he says yes, and she asks, how did it make you feel? And he says, like I could read God's mind, and everyone's acting like this is a bad thing. We have a child who achieved telepathy, and we're treating it like a problem. That's innovation, that's progress. In my day, we had to eat mushrooms in the woods to talk to God, and we didn't even get to keep the knowledge. This kid got a shortcut to enlightenment for $3.50 and his mom's upset about the hospital bill. The mom stands up. She's wearing sunglasses inside, which means she's either famous or afraid of ceiling lights. She starts crying. Not like quiet crying, like theatrical crying, like she's auditioning for a soap opera about juice, and she's saying, my baby could have died, and I'm thinking, yeah, but he didn't. He leveled up. He transcended. He's probably smarter now. Ask him math. Bet he knows math. Bet he knows the math of the universe. Now, but nobody's asking. They're just booing me like I'm the villain, when really I'm Willy Wonka with fewer safety regulations. I tried to explain that the drink wasn't even that dangerous. I tested it on my cat first, and my cat is fine. My cat is actually doing better. My cat learned to open doors. Now she's evolving. She's going to replace us soon, and I'm fine with that. Cats should run things. They sleep 16 hours a day and still get fed. That's efficiency. The judge hits his little hammer thing gavel. It's called a gavel. I looked it up during the bathroom break, which I took without permission, but nobody stopped me, so technically it was legal. He hits it and says, order in the court, but there was no order. There was chaos. There was a man in the back row eating a sandwich that smelled like old socks, and nobody cared about that. They cared about my beverages. Here's the part where I actually saw my life flash before my eyes. Not because of danger, because of boredom. The prosecutor started reading the ingredients list. She read every ingredient. She pronounced guarana wrong. She said guarna, like it's a heavy metal band. It's not. It's a bean that makes your heart hate you. She spent 40 minutes on citric acid alone. Citric acid is in oranges. Oranges are legal, but when I put it in a bottle with a skull on it, suddenly it's a crime. The skull was ironic. It meant this might kill you, but in a fun way. Like roller coasters, like marriage. My lawyer was supposed to be helping me, but he was playing chess on his phone. I know because I looked over his shoulder he was losing to a computer on easy mode. This is the man defending my freedom, and he can't beat an algorithm that was invented in 1987. I whispered bishop to c4 and he jumped like I electrocuted him. He told me to be quiet, and I said, maybe you should be better at chess if you're going to do it during my trial. And the judge said, who's talking about chess? And I said, Your Honor, we are all pawns in God's game. And also, my lawyer is losing to a bot. They took a recess after that. Recess is what they call it, like we're children, like we need nap time. I went to the vending machine and bought a Coke, which is funny because Coke has caffeine and sugar and chemicals, and that's legal because a corporation made it. But when I make it in my bathtub with love and battery acid, suddenly it's endangerment. The Coke tasted like hypocrisy. Also like aluminum, mostly aluminum. When we came back, they had a doctor testify. Doctors love courts. They get to wear their nice coats and act important. This guy said the drink could have caused cardiac events, which is doctor speak for heart goes boom. But everything can cause cardiac events, fear causes cardiac events, surprise causes cardiac events, seeing a picture of your mom from the 80s causes cardiac events because she was hot and you have to deal with that information now. Life is dangerous, my drink is just honest about it. I asked the doctor if he'd ever tried it, and he said no. And I said, then how do you know? And he said, medical science. And I said, medical science also said cigarettes were good for you in the 50s. And he said, that was marketing. And I said, this is marketing too. I'm marketing chaos. The judge told me to stop debating the witness. I wasn't debating, I was educating. There's a difference. By hour 3, I was ready to die, not because I was guilty, because the chairs were designed by someone who hates spines. They have this curve that pushes your pelvis forward, like you're permanently bowing to the judge, who reminder looks like a root vegetable with a gavel. My lower back was screaming, my upper back was joining in. It was a chorus of skeletal protest. I raised my hand and said, I need to stand, and the judge said, sit down, and I said, this is cruel and unusual, and he said, that's for punishment, not chairs, and I said, then punish me because this chair is punishing me. They wouldn't let me switch seats. They wouldn't let me sit on the floor. I asked if I could do a plank because that's good for your core, and the bailiff laughed, but it wasn't a joke. I have fitness goals, I have a routine. The state can't just interrupt my routine because some kid unlocked the third eye and saw the color of Tuesdays. The closing arguments happened. I don't remember what my lawyer said because I was counting ceiling tiles. There were 48, one was crooked. I stared at it for 20 minutes wondering who installed it and if they were proud of their work. Probably not. You don't do your best work for courts. You save your best work for museums or Chipotle. Chipotle has standards. This place has dust. The jury went out. They were supposed to be my peers, but they weren't. They looked normal. They looked like people who file taxes early and know what a 401k is. I'm not their peer. I'm a pioneer. I'm a visionary. I'm a man who looked at the energy drink market and said, what if I did that? They came back in 40 minutes, which is either really fast or really slow, depending on how you experience time. The foreperson stood up. That's what they call the leader foreperson. Like they're predicting the future, and she said guilty like it was easy. Like it didn't cost her anything, like she was ordering coffee. The judge asked if I had anything to say before sentencing, and I said yes. I said a lot. I said that laws are just suggestions with consequences, and that consequences are just stories we tell ourselves to feel safe, and that safety is an illusion, and that the real crime here is the temperature of the room and the price of parking, which was $14 for 3 hours, which is extortion, and that kid is probably doing calculus in his head now, and you're welcome. The judge gave me community service for like 200 hours, cleaning up parks, which is funny because my drink was biodegradable. Everything I make is biodegradable eventually. We're all biodegradable. We're all just waiting to become dirt. Some of us just get there faster because we drink green. So I almost died in court today from cold and boredom and the weight of a system that can't recognize genius when it's selling it in Ziploc bags at a bus stop, but I didn't die. I'm here, I'm talking. My heart is still beating, probably. I can't feel my toes, but that's fine, toes are optional.